All right, Ruthless fans, let's get into Tyler Perry's Ruthless Season 2, Episode 1, Part 2. Try saying that 3 times. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So let's get right into this review. Part 1 of Episode 1, the highest told William to go and get some wood for the incense that he wants to burn during the ceremony, that he's going to pull everyone together and give a word from the Raku. So he's pulling the barrel up the hill to go back to the highest, and then Oliver comes around. Oliver tells him that he'll take the wood pile up for him. And then William gets all defensive. He goes, well, no, I'm going to do it. The highest is going to be mad at me if I don't do it. What do you think? I'm not strong enough? And then Oliver says, well, yeah, you're strong enough. You know, you're man enough to do it. Just, you know, but I'll take over from now. And William wasn't having it. He said he was going to take it. He got a little aggressive with Oliver, and Oliver pushed him down. Oh, my gosh. This guy really has a temper problem, period. And then William still gets up and says, you know, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. The highest is going to be really mad at me. And then Oliver says, boy, go to that wood pile and get some by hand. That was so funny to me. It took me all the way back to like Roots or something. The next scene, Oliver is taking the barrel through the compound. This was another part that was so funny to me. I mean, he's strolling through the compound with the barrel of wood, blood, and bones. And then, then he runs into King Lurker himself, Mr. Daikon. It's so amazing to me how Daikon is everywhere throughout that compound. I mean, he just pops up out of nowhere. Him, Elder Mother, and River. So Daikon is still questioning Elder Mother's intentions with her flirting and her flirtatious ways. I'm not really sure what his angle is with this, because he just can't seem to let go of it. He gets a kick out of the idea, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he's going to use it later. He kind of goes over the recruiting stuff from Clark, making sure that Clark made him aware of, you know, what the recruiting requirements are and stuff like that, and talking about Lilo, calls him a devil, and he basically lets Oliver know that Lilo is very important to the operation, and he advises Oliver to keep Lilo happy. So not knowing that Lilo's laying right there in the barrel right beside them. Then Daikon tells him to leave the barrel of bones and blood. And then, you know, that's the end of that scene. Oliver, of course, is very disturbed by this and doesn't know how to take it. All he can do is walk away. William finally gets the wood to the highest when River pops up on the scene. And they have a pretty lengthy conversation, and it kind of lends a new perspective on the highest for me. He kind of showed that he does have a conscience, and maybe the thing that was going on with the kids was really bothering him, and you can tell, you know, he was kind of softening up a bit. But at any rate, the highest was concerned about getting old, and he was asking River, you know, do I look old? You know, do you think I'm old? And of course River reassures him, you know, you're beautiful and you're timeless. River mentions that the kids say it all, and that, you know, if he, you know, pays attention, that he can see how the kids light up, or how the members light up in his presence. And this is where the highest kind of starts to think, you know, I don't want to hurt the kids and the children. And, you know, he just basically goes into second guessing what he was about to do. He says that he brings light to the world, and that the kids are helping him. So he's talking about pulling the kids away and putting them on a bus, taking them to the border to be muled. And I'm not going to go into what muled is. If you don't know what it is, then just look it up. I'm not going to be able to discuss that. But anyway, he's talking about the kids being muled and that they're really actually helping him because he brings so much light to the world. And River seems a little bit uncomfortable right here, and you can tell, the look in his eyes. He's just kind of like, he's a little uncomfortable with the idea. Kids will be able to see the ocean, something that he's never did as a kid. And then he kind of invited River to plan to go together to the ocean one day. And here comes King Lurker himself once again, Daikon. He enters the scene. Boom. And he's basically still jealous, of course. He quickly dismisses River and tells him, you need to leave. Is there something that you need to be doing? And then, the highest told him to go ahead and leave and he'll just see him tonight. And Daikon was like, no, you'll see him tomorrow. And that ended that scene. Okay, now we see Ruth and Tally washing dishes with the other ladies, along with the two elder mothers, Agnes and elder mother Marva. The elder mother compliments Tally on her cooking, and Tally says, does the highest like it? And elder mother was like, no, he only eats my food. So she was basically telling Tally, don't think too much of yourself, don't get ahead of yourself here. Just take the compliment and keep it moving. What's really interesting here to me is that Ruth is doing common chores like the rest of the members. If she's an elder, she may not be an elder mother, which is a different level of eldership, I guess. I don't know. There is no evidence of her eldership to me. Because every time things are happening, she's always thrown into the pool with the other members. No one gives her the respect as an elder, and she's never with the elder mothers. So I'm not sure what her level is at this point, but it's just strange to me how she ends up doing common chores like the rest of them. Okay, so now elder mother Marva tells the other elder mother that Tally and Ruth should not be in the same rooms together. That, they could be teaching the other women how to behave, I guess. Then she goes on to tell Tally and Ruth, you ladies have really been set straight pretty much because you've been punished. And he says, yes, of course, elder mother. It's just really... Anyway, elder mother says, nothing like a little punishment to turn your thinking around. So then she tells Tally that she's going to move out of the room with Ruth and move into another trailer with the other girls. Elder mother then tells Agnes that they should check on Lilo, pretty much. So she dismisses her to check on Lilo. And then the other ladies start talking. You got Paula, Zane, and, Ruth and Tally. And then Ruth is, just always giving Joan a hard time. And, when Joan comes up, she goes, "Are they gone? Are they gone?" And then she informs everybody of the meeting that they're going to have, those nightly meetings or weekly meetings they have under the tree. And then Ruth says, meeting for what? And she goes to discuss leaving. And Ruth says that no one is leaving. This is where she says, just sets the record straight. No one is leaving. And then Paula was like, oh, yeah, they're leaving. They're leaving tonight. Paula is ready to go. She don't want to listen to Zane. She doesn't want to listen to Ruth at this point. She's just, whatever happens, she's leaving tonight. Joan reassures everyone that they have a car coming and, everything's still on go. The plans are still, they're still moving forward with their plans. And then Ruth tells Tally that they should leave. And she says, if they're really going to leave, they're going to be killed by the morning. They won't make it. Then Zane is asking Joan why she's staying. And of course, we all know that Joan has other plans about the money. She's moving money here and there. And I'm sure she wants a part of that. And Zane tells them not to leave. She's a little hesitant now. She doesn't want to really do it. She's scared, and she's telling Paula and them not to do it. We have Ruth and Tally walking off. Tally wants to leave, of course, and Ruth asks her, will you be able to get Callie and Tavia? And Tally says no, but she does trust the sheriffs, and, she's just ready to make the move. And Ruth is telling her if she leaves, she won't make it until the morning. She won't see the morning. And Ruth says that the group leaving, that their plan is to commit suicide. That's what she's saying. And Tally is like, well, isn't that what they're planning to do here too? So she's basically letting her know it doesn't matter, what the plans are, because the end goal is the same. Everybody will eventually kill themselves. And, I'm not really sure why that conversation went the way that it did, because it really didn't make sense. If they were going to off themselves, if that was the plan all along, then why are you leaving? Ruth then tells her that she's in at the top now. And she finally admits that she slept with the highest. And Tally is surprised that he's into women. Ruth is interested in a bigger play. She really wants in on the cash, and she's changing, as I stated before. And Tally warns her that she's in danger. She's really afraid for Ruth. And she says that Ruth tells her that the highest is deranged and that he's crazy. And Tally says that she doesn't trust Ruth. Ruth tells her that the money won't last and they're going to need more money. Tally's just concerned because she's telling Ruth, you're more into getting a bigger score, and I'm trying to get out of here. You're choosing money over your freedom, basically, is what she's saying. She also warns Ruth that if Daikon and the highest finds out she's playing games with them, that they're all dead. Her, the children, Ruth, Tally, everybody. They're just gonna off them all. Then to sum up the scene, Tally tells Ruth, I'm glad that I'm changing rooms, and she's gonna come up with her own plan at this point. Which brings me back to 2 videos ago when I said that, there was going to be a divide. They were divided now. They're coming up with their own plans. Tally doesn't trust Ruth. Everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody has their own agenda. So it's going to be surprising how this all turns out. I wouldn't be surprised that if the season ended with Ruth actually shooting Tally and ultimately betraying her for money and power. That's just my insight on it, and that's my premonition. Daikon is on his usual lurking strolls, and then he finds a hole in the gate. The hole where the members plan to escape. Now we move to outside the gate, where we have Oliver and Clark, and Oliver keeps looking inside the gate, saying that, he's still hungry, and Clark is thinking, why are you still looking in the gate? Why do you keep looking inside the gate? Are you looking for the girl? Are you looking for Lacey? Then Oliver assures him that he's just hungry, and that's why he keeps looking. Clark is a little upset with Oliver because he chose to not have his back when he was talking to Daikon. But Oliver tells him that he was protecting him instead. I guess that was good enough for Clark, and they squashed it. Mother Agnes then comes out, and then she's questioning where Lilo is and wants to know if anybody has seen him. Clark tells him that he will go and look for Lilo, and told Oliver to stay at the gate and keep watch. Then we have our 2 lovebirds, Sarah and Malcolm. Sarah wants to know how long all of this is going to take. Malcolm tells her he doesn't know, and then Sarah basically doesn't want to talk about it. This was a very short, brief scene filler. That's all this was, a filler, clearly. Okay, then we have Brian, who's on the phone with Mac, and he tells Mac that they have a problem and that Sheriff Conley is pretty much a scaredy cat. And he's questioning him about Andrew and why Andrew was with him, and he tells him that that they wanted Andrew to kill his wife. that the death was staged, to prove loyalty. So he basically explains everything that Andrew was doing. Brian lets him know not to trust Malcolm, and that Malcolm is very vindictive and that he knows too much, and he doesn't really think it's safe for him to know all of what's going on with Andrew inside the cult because he's having an affair with the wife. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Then Brian calls his wife Lynn. Lynn doesn't pick up the phone. He leaves a message. Then he calls Cynthia, her cousin, to see, what was going on. And Cynthia tells him that Lynn wanted to use and, but she'll go over and check on her. And then Brian is concerned, about her drinking. Have you been drinking? Of course, Cynthia's been drinking. What else is she doing? And then she, comforts him by letting him know that she'll take an Uber to his house instead to check on Lynn. Then Sheriff Conley comes in and basically ending the night, telling Brian to go home. Brian still wants to know why he doesn't want to go to the compound, and the sheriff simply tells him he doesn't want to upset the Rakadushis without a plan. And the sheriff promises to go to the compound in the morning when it's daylight. All right, now we cut to Daikon and Ruth. They go inside the trailer, and Daikon tells Ruth that she is a confusing woman. He lets her know that the highest is mad at him, and he wants to know why she's doing this, why she's playing games. And he basically tells her that he saw her online as a prostitute, and he's wondering if she's changed much, which kind of goes back to another part of one of my videos when I said that her character is still the same. She still has that mentality. She's still making the same moves or like moves that she made in the streets as a prostitute. She has all the players in place and she's familiar with the environment, so she uses what she can to get what she wants. Daikon tells her that the baby that she's carrying is the highest baby, and Ruth says, but the baby will look like you. And he tells her to be careful. He gives her a kiss, and then he tells her to leave. Okay, now we get to Brian, who's been calling Lynn all day. She hasn't been picking up. So when he gets home, he finds Lynn sitting at the kitchen counter, unhappy. He basically asks her, is this about your parents? And she goes, well, that and a whole lot of other stuff. Here we have her parents mentioned again. Back in season 1, Brian threatened to call her parents after she started using drugs. I think that Lynn is the type of person who grew up in a family that protected her. They shielded her. They were well-to-do. They sent her off to the proper schools. She became a teacher and had this quote-unquote perfect life. But deep down, that's not what she wanted at all. Lynn she gravitates towards the bad guy. Basically the ones who's going to give her what she wants. And part of what she wants in this instance is the drugs. And she gravitates towards those bad guys. But, she is under the strict care of her mom and her dad. And then now she has a husband who's overbearingly protective of her. But I think Lynn feels trapped and she doesn't feel like she's herself or that she can be herself, which makes her unhappy, especially when she's married to a guy who's married to his job and not really to catering to her in the way that she wants him to be, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with her life, but her as a person, the way that she is and what she wants, it's conflicting with her present life. So I think that's where she is right now. And especially you throwing in drugs on top of that, it doesn't help. It only makes the situation worse. Then Brian throws in the gift. He brings her this gift of lockets or locks or something from their past, which clearly triggers an emotion in Lynn. It kind of reminds me of the scene with Janet Jackson and Malik Yoba in Why Did I Get Married, when he bought the picture of the baby, their baby that got killed in the car accident, and he just look at the baby, just look at it. It kind of brought up all these emotions out of Janet. This is the scene that reminds me of that. So I don't know, maybe you guys saw it, maybe you didn't, but this definitely pulls me back to that scene. So with her looking at these lockets, it pulled a lot of emotions out of Lynn. she was crying, the tears flowing and the music playing. And I'm thinking, okay, she's just gonna, she's gonna give in. Then she grabbed her purse and she was like, I still want a divorce. Poor Brian, she still wanted a divorce. She still stormed out and, stormed upstairs, and, that was that. That didn't change anything. Then we move on to the final scene. Andrew is coming back to the compound and, getting through the gate, he runs into Oliver, and Oliver confides in him about Lilo and let him know what he did. And Andrew wants to know where the body is, and Oliver can't tell him. He just keeps telling him the barrel is gone, the wheelbarrow is gone. And Andrew says, we'll figure something out after he sees Daikon and the highest and kind of report back officially. Then he'll help him figure out what to do with the body. So that's it for that part 2 of season 2, episode 1. Let me know what you guys think. Give me some feedback. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Also, the Facebook group that I'm a part of, Tyler Perry Ruthless fans. The link is in the description, so go ahead and join if you're a Ruthless fan and you want to get in there and talk your ish about the show. This is where you do it. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next video.